I want to introduce a new AI art site to get your models, your checkpoints, your LoRa's, your embeddings / textual inversions. Now, if you're new to AI art and you don't understand a word of what I just said, this is basically a website where you can get custom files that will change your AI art to have a more specific art style, theme, or effects like miniature photography and bokeh, things like that. Let's say you want a specific anime art style. So you download a model that will make every image that you create look like it was created in that world. If you use LoRa, you can have it even more focused so you can have the similarity of a character or a specific artistic effect. This site also has an image generator, so you can generate AI art directly from the site using the models that they provide, and it has an intuitive design and clean interface like you're working in photo editor, but with the ability to access AI art models and LoRa's to generate pictures and edit on the fly. It also has two features that I really like, which is the style transfer and the collage mode, which I'll show you a sample of that later in the video. Now, this site shares some similarities to Civitai AI, where it gives users the ability to upload models to be shared with the community, and it allows users like me to download those models and put them in AI art generator tools like Comfy UI, Automatic 1111, and tools like Focus. Another awesome thing is that it allows you to generate images directly from the site using the model you chose by simply clicking on Run Model. No installation required. I love this because it gives us another option aside from Civitai AI. There wasn't a lot of places to go. I mean, there was Hugging Face, but that thing was out of control and a mess, specifically when you're looking for AI art models. But this starts some high-level competition within the AI art space, and so you have two big companies that are trying to fight for our love and affection, the users. And when companies compete, the end user always wins, as one company constantly tries to one-up the other company, inadvertently providing innovation out of necessity. Take a look at Samsung and iPhones and Nvidia and AMD, which not much of a competition there, but there used to be. Now, before we get started, I'm obligated to say this is a paid promotion, but I normally ignore these in my emails because this is more of a hobby for me and a way to share things with the community. But I thought this was a great site and something that I would actually use, so I would have done this video for free. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but here we are. Now let's go into what the company wants you to know about them verbatim. Shakker AI is a premium community for stable diffusion models, featuring a curated selection of thousands of high-quality SD models from around the globe. Unlike Civitai AI, we do not feature NSFW content. We offer a vast selection of high-quality models for creative design in various fields, including portraits, anime, architecture, illustration, and e-commerce. Additionally, model creators can upload their models to Shakker AI. Our goal is to ensure the creators receive fair compensation for their contributions while sharing their work with the community. Now, SD stands for Stable Diffusion and NSFW stands for Not Safe for Work. It's basically anything that's nude, sexual, or super gory. Just a little side note, you can actually download the Stable Diffusion 3 models from Shakker AI. So there's the 5GB model or 5.56, and there's also the larger 10GB model. And you'll see the differences between the smaller model and the bigger one, but normally the bigger models are for training. So if you're going to make your own models, this is the one you want to download, which is the 10G version. But if you just want to create art, get this one, which is the 5GB model. And a little side note before we go forward, there's something I found very interesting right now on their site, and there's a $200,000 bonus pool for a competition they're running from June 13 to July 15. Now, before you get too excited, that's $200,000 bonus pool. You don't win that prize. Read the rules and understand it, and it's basically how much they're shelling out, and the max reward seems to be like 220 bucks. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but go ahead and read through it and you can see the requirements for the contest and if this is something that you want to do. All right, so let's talk about how you generate art with this site. So the first thing you need to do is choose if you're going to use a checkpoint, a LoRa, or a textual inversion, which is also known as an embedding. And you could filter that out if you're searching for it by clicking it right here where it says type. Click on all types and then you can select what you're looking for here. And you could also see at the top left of the picture what it is. So this one's a checkpoint. Now here's an example of a checkpoint. If you want a checkpoint, you'll actually go here and download the model right here. So this is 2 gigs right here. Checkpoints are usually around 2 to 5 gigs. And this is only if you're trying to run this on your local PC. But the same thing with the LoRa, you can have a download button right here and you would download it. And LoRa's are a lot smaller. They're usually around 200 megabytes to a gig. But that's too complicated for this video. I'm not going to teach you how to install Automatic 1111. I'm going to teach you how to generate art right now using these models on this site for free. By the way, you get 200 free fast generations daily. So that's pretty generous from the site and you can keep generating art every day. Just let it refresh. And I'm not actually clear if you run out of fast generations, if you can still generate. I think you could, but don't quote me on that. But one reason you might want to download it and put it on your computer is if you see here, this one has 5 trials for non-members. So you can either run the model right here, click on run model, or you can go over here to the left and click on AI generator. Both of them will get you to the create canvas. Then on the left, you have a bunch of suggestions that you can actually drag into your canvas. You can actually click over here to send it to canvas, the little button in the middle here, or you can click on the information here, see what was used to create this model. So I'm going to click this and it's going to send it to my canvas right here. And it's a beautiful picture of Jinx from LOL. Now, as you can see, when you click on the picture, you'll have the option to download it. Now let's go back and see what happens if you click run model directly. So it brings you to the canvas as well. But then it added the LoRa here, which is the evolution from realistic. One thing you got to keep in mind too, if you add a LoRa that doesn't match your base model, it's not going to work. So if you added a 1.5 LoRa with the SDXL model, you're going to get a red text. So let me do that right now. So as you can see, there's some red text here and it's basically saying unavailable. That's because the model SDXL doesn't match with the LoRa, which was made with a 1.5 base model. All you need to know, if the text is red, you either need to change this or remove this so they match. You can see here SD 1.5. I'm going to remove that. I don't want to use that. Now look at your control panel here, starting with this lightning bolt. And as a free user, you get 200 of these a day and they renew every day. Now, if you see at the bottom here where it says generate, you can see how many fast credits are being used to create one picture. So there's 3 being used to create this single picture that I'm trying to create here. So it's not 1 per 1. So you're not going to just use 1 credit to actually generate one picture. Just keep that in mind. Next, you have your positive prompt, and this is where you describe what you want to actually put in there, what you're trying to create. So let's type in something right now. I made it pretty short. In negative prompts, there's a standard prompt here. I don't want anything, so I'm going to delete it. And negative prompt is basically something you don't want in your picture. And the base model here is SDXL. And you can change it to a custom one that I showed you earlier, like all of these here. Anything that says checkpoint in the top, you're going to create this style picture. So you can tell these two here are pretty anime-ish, and this one's pretty real. Actually, this one's a low. Here's a checkpoint that's pretty real, and it's pretty sure I saw this one on Civitai. All right, so now we have the weight of the LoRa, and it's 0 to 1. So 1 being the strongest weight, which essentially means that you're going to get more of the LoRa rather than the base model. And you can add an image reference from here. You can actually click the plus button to upload something, or you could actually just drag a picture over here. So these are sample images from other users, and you could click on the information button right here, and then you could send it to the generator, but it's going to send it with the base model plus LoRa. And unfortunately, it removed the LoRa's that I had there. One thing you could do is click add LoRa, and then you could type in whatever it was. So I'm going to click add LoRa, and it was evolution to realism. So evolution, type that in. There it is. Add it. And for the base model, it was just a default SDXL. Now looking at image reference, so you can actually send one of these images that are in here by clicking on reference. So if I wanted to reference this image, I could go here, hover over it, and then I'll have this reference here, and I'll throw the image in there. So I'm going to reference this image, which is actually someone else's image, and we'll see what that gets us in our prompt. Oh, another thing that changed when I sent it to generator was the description here, so I got to change that again. Let's try that. Here are some parameters, and you might be used to this if you've used automatic 1111. See, the VAE is a little complicated, so I'm not going to touch that. So is clip skip. But I will tell you that the CFG scale, the more you raise it, the more it wants to adhere to your prompt. And the lower it is, the more creative it gets. So if it starts looking funny or not looking like your prompt, you could definitely raise this to get better. But definitely play with the numbers to see what's better for your particular picture. Now we got the sampling method. This one's a pretty good one, but you could choose what you want here. Euler A is usually the quickest, and the rest I don't remember which Keras is better than the others. You can probably look that up, but definitely Euler is not as good as these, but it'll be a lot quicker to make stuff. And then sampling steps, I would just leave it at 30. Basically, the more sampling steps, the better the quality should be. Should be is the key word. Depending on your sampler method or all sorts of different factors, if it's already too sharp on the photo, it's a bunch of things why you might not want to raise the step. Next, we have seeds, and so there's fixed and there's random. If you don't feel like you're ever going to use the picture that you create again, you can put it on random, but a fixed seed will allow you to use that number that's generated to try and create something similar again. Then add-ons, we have a face fixer or a hand fixer, which is typically the problems you see with AI art, but I would just kind of leave it as is. Unless you're having a lot of problems, then I would go back in and use one of these. Only because the face fixers like GFPGAN or Code Former, they might remove too much detail from the face. So if you're looking for things like wrinkles, pores, or realism, probably not going to get what you want. And also with cartoons, sometimes it over smooths the face, and that's something that you probably don't want in your image. Now, image size, I would just stick with a lower resolution, or you can go back and upscale it. I have a whole video of 5 upscalers that are pretty awesome that you can use, but when you raise this, you actually raise the number of credits required to generate your image. Also, when you raise the image number, so if you put 2, you'll see that the credits actually raise up. So let's see what happens when I put double the width here. You can see that now it takes 8 points to generate instead of 4, which is a huge increase. I would recommend just getting a decent resolution and upscaling from there. If you're only making a few pictures a day, then you go ahead and splurge and raise the resolution. But if you're making a video like me and you want to use free credits, I'm gonna be more conservative on the pictures I make. And that was pretty much a quick rundown on how to generate an image. So I'm gonna click generate and let's see what we get. So right now it's generating 2 images. Okay, it says fast tokens and other benefits deducted have been returned. So something went wrong, but it did give me the points back. So let's try that again. Let me take out the reference image. That could be what's messing it up. Yep, so it was the reference image. So I'm not sure why that would mess it up. Yep, couldn't use that. All right, so these are the pictures that I created and they're okay. They're not the best. So let's actually use a checkpoint that's for dragons. So let's go look at that. So I think this LoRa probably would work for us. So let's try that. So just click on it and then click on run model. And then I'm just going to generate again. All right, I think that looks a little bit better. And there's no girl in the dragon, so it messed that one up. But it was the Conan universe, and this definitely looks like something out of that. But the dragon looks a little bit meaner and a lot more serious. Anyways, I think you get the idea. So I'm going to take a look at something else I created earlier, which was for product photography. So one thing that's cool is like all of your pictures actually end up on this canvas. So when you hold control and you scroll out, you can see all your pictures. So I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to hold control and scroll up, and then I could actually zoom in here. Then you can hold the middle mouse button to drag it around. So when you hover over your picture, you have a bunch of options here. So you can either match the model. So when I click that, it's going to throw the model over here in the LoRa because this was made with a LoRa and not a model itself. And you could click on reference image if you want to put it in there, but we're not doing that. But at the top, you got some extra editing options here. So you could do in paint, you can do upscales, you can remove the background, you can use a remover, which is going to be very useful for this specifically. You can crop it and you can outpaint. And then they also have collage, which is very cool. But before we do collage, we actually have to create something. So we'll do that in a second. So for this picture, if you look very close, I'm holding control and scrolling up to zoom in. You can see that the words here and this stuff doesn't match. We need to get rid of it. So this remover tool is pretty awesome. So make sure the picture is selected first, then click on the remover tool. And you could hold control and scroll up to zoom in, but just know that at the bottom, this is where your select tools are. Now you got the lasso, you got the marquee, and you got undo and redo over here. So the marquee, basically click that and you could pull it over the word here, bokeh. Now I could click on remove here and check that out. It looks like it was never there. Pretty good tool. Now let's mess with the lasso tool here because it does the same thing actually. It's just a different shape. So this logo doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. And what you can do is like just grab it here and go in a circle until you fill it up. That's not the best example, but it did the job. So now I'm going to click on remove, scroll down, click remove, boom, it's gone. And if you have any remnants like this, just do it again and it'll go away. So I have a little bit of dirt here. If you look at it really closely, you'll see some dirt there. I can't zoom any further in, but if you just go do it again one more time, it'll disappear. And it's perfect. Look at that. And so let's get rid of the rest. All right, so I got rid of the rest and it looks pretty nice. And when you look down here, there's a little bit of a reflection of the words that were there. So this model, LoRa, is pretty cool because it actually made a reflection and took the words and reflected it down here. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to go ahead and remove the words from the reflection. So I put the marquee over it, clicking remove, and it's perfect. Look at that. It's like it was never there. So this remove tool is pretty advanced. It works pretty good. One thing to take note of is that it didn't use any of the fast credits. So that's pretty amazing that you just go in here and play with this editing tool all day. At least I haven't encountered that so far. And another thing is if you want the changes undone, you should undo it before you exit. I'm not sure if you can undo it after you actually exit. So make sure you want to keep the changes before you exit because it's going to become permanent. So there you go. So I got my bottle without the words. All right, so I finally got collage mode working, but there's some caveats to it. But a big thing was that you had to use the same LoRa's or models that were used to create both pictures. So you probably couldn't mix pictures with different models, so don't do that. And you also had to overlay the first picture with the other one or vice versa, whichever you want. But it does do it. If you don't add the LoRa's or the models that you use, this is kind of what you come up with. As you can see here, these are really nice pictures. I mean, this is a nice product picture, but It doesn't mesh those colorful waters like this right here. And in this one, the creativity was low and it just put the pictures side by side. This one looks pretty nice. So just to recap, Shakker AI is a site where you can get a lot of high quality SD models, and it differentiates itself from Civitai AI by being SFW, which is safe for work, and for many other uses. But I think where it shines is definitely fashion photography and product photography. There is a lot of different samples of product photography and it does a really great job. I was barely even trying and I created some very neat product photography. So I definitely recommend trying it, at least the free version. And if you like it so much and you want to create thousands of pictures, or you think that you can make some money with it by creating some product art or product photography, go ahead and choose the premium version. I want to thank you for watching, and if you liked the video or if you like the site, give the video a thumbs up please. It helps me out a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye.